before the flow begins. Ladies and gentlemen, there are moments in life when everything appears ordinary. Moments when we sit in rooms like this one. Moments when we listen, when we observe, when we breathe without thinking. Moments when nothing seems extraordinary. And yet, hidden within the ordinary are the forces that shape our entire existence. Right now, as you sit here, your heart is beating. Not because you commanded it, not because you forced it, but because something inside you is moving. Something inside you is flowing. Something inside you is alive. You do not see it. You do not control it consciously, but it is there, quiet, faithful, relentless, flowing. Your entire life depends on flow. Your blood flows, your thoughts flow, your breath flows, and beyond your body, beyond your awareness, there is another flow, a flow that humanity discovered, a flow that transformed darkness into light, a flow that connected continents, a flow that gave humanity the ability to extend its reach beyond its physical limits. Electricity. Electricity is one of the greatest discoveries in human history. But tonight, I'm not here to speak to you merely as engineers or scientists or students of physics. Tonight, I am here to speak to you as human beings. Because electricity is more than a scientific phenomenon. Electricity is a mirror reflecting the truth about potential, a mirror reflecting the truth about connection, a mirror reflecting the truth about you. Because there was a time when electricity existed, but humanity could not use it. The power was present, but the connection was missing. The energy was real, but the pathway had not yet been built. And I want you to understand something deeply important tonight. There are people in this room, people listening to my voice right now, who are filled with power, filled with ideas, filled with potential, filled with dreams that have not yet been activated. Not because those dreams are impossible, not because those dreams are unrealistic, but because the connection has not yet been completed. Because potential alone does not illuminate the world. Potential must flow. And tonight, we are going to talk about flow. Not just the flow of electricity, but the flow of courage, the flow of belief, the flow of human possibility. Because history has never been shaped by those who remain dormant. History has always been shaped by those who allowed their inner current to move, those who allowed their power to flow. And by the end of tonight, I hope you will see electricity differently. But more importantly, I hope you will see yourself differently. Ladies and gentlemen, before I begin, I want you to do something simple. Just breathe. Take a slow breath in and breathe out. Because right now, something extraordinary is happening around you. Lights are glowing above you. Sound is traveling through this microphone. Air conditioning may be flowing quietly. Devices in your pockets are alive with energy. All of this is happening because of something you cannot see. Electricity. It surrounds you. It serves you. It empowers your life every single day. And yet, most of the time, you never think about it. You flip a switch and light appears. You press a button and the world responds. You expect power. You depend on power. But have you ever stopped to ask yourself, what is power, really? Not just electrical power, but human power. Where does it come from? Why do some lives illuminate the world while others remain in darkness? Why do some people transform history while others remain invisible? Tonight, I want to explore something deeper than physics. Tonight, I want to explore the flow of electricity and the flow of the human spirit. Because the story of electricity is the story of you. Chapter 1. The power that exists before you see it. Before humanity ever built its first power station, before the first wire was stretched across a city, before the first light bulb illuminated the darkness, electricity already existed. It existed in lightning tearing across the sky. It existed in the nervous systems of living beings. It existed in the atoms of every object on Earth. Power was present, but it was not yet understood. And because it was not understood, it was not yet used. Imagine living in a world filled with power, but unable to access it. Imagine living surrounded by possibility, but unable to activate it. This was the human condition for thousands of years, and in many ways it still is. Because there are people sitting in this room right now, people listening to my voice, who are filled with power, filled with ideas, filled with dreams, filled with potential. But that power remains dormant, not because it does not exist, but because it has not yet been activated. Electricity does not begin when we create it. Electricity begins when we discover it. And your transformation does not begin when you become someone new. It begins when you discover who you already are. Chapter 2. The moment of connection. There is a moment in every electrical system that changes everything. A moment when the circuit closes. A moment when the connection becomes complete. Before that moment, there is silence, stillness, potential without movement. But the instant the circuit closes, everything changes. Energy begins to move. Light begins to shine. Power begins to serve its purpose. And in human life, transformation begins the same way. Not with talent, not with resources, not with perfection, but with connection. Connection to belief. Connection to purpose. Connection to action. Many people spend years waiting to feel ready, waiting to feel confident, waiting for certainty. But electricity never waits for certainty. It flows when connection is created, and your life changes the moment you decide to connect action to potential. Chapter 3. The silent enemy. Resistance. Every electrical engineer understands resistance. Resistance is the force that opposes movement. It slows the current. It reduces efficiency. It creates heat. Resistance is unavoidable. It exists in every system, and resistance exists in every human life. Resistance appears as fear. Resistance appears as doubt. Resistance appears as rejection. Resistance appears as failure. Resistance appears as the voice that says, "Stay where you are. Do not risk. Do not try. Do not move." But here's the truth most people never realize. Resistance is not the opposite of power. Resistance is evidence of power. Because resistance only appears when something is trying to move. If nothing moves, there is no resistance. If nothing flows, there is no opposition. The presence of resistance in your life does not mean you are weak. It means you are alive. It means you are moving. It means you are becoming. Chapter 4. The first spark before every city was powered, before every building was illuminated, there was a spark. Small, fragile, easy to ignore, but powerful enough to begin everything. Every invention began as an idea. Every achievement began as a decision. Every transformation began as a moment. Not a perfect moment, not a guaranteed moment, just a moment when someone chose to begin. You do not need to know the entire path. You only need the courage to create the first spark. Because the first spark creates the first current. And the first current creates momentum. And momentum creates transformation. Chapter 5. The grid. You are not alone. Electricity does not serve one building alone. It serves entire cities, entire nations, entire civilizations, through networks, through grids, through connections, each part supporting the others, each part strengthening the system. Human beings are no different. You are part of a network. Your courage strengthens others. Your belief inspires others. Your action empowers others. You may never see the full impact of your life, but your current travels farther than you realize. Chapter 6. Darkness is not the end. There are moments when power fails, moments when cities go dark, moments when everything stops, and in those moments, people remember something important. Darkness is not permanent, because the power still exists. It simply needs to be restored. And in your life, there will be moments of darkness, moments of loss, moments of doubt, moments when everything feels uncertain. But darkness does not mean your power is gone. It means your connection needs to be restored, and connection can always be rebuilt. Always. Chapter 7. You are the conductor. Electricity follows the path that is created for it. It does not choose its destination. It follows the conductor. And in your life, you are the conductor. Your thoughts shape your direction. Your beliefs shape your actions. Your actions shape your future. You are not powerless. You are not passive. You are the architect of your path. You are the creator of your connection. You are the conductor of your current. Final chapter. The decision that changes everything. And now we arrive at the most important moment. Not a scientific moment. Not a technological moment. A human moment. A decision. Because everything you have heard tonight means nothing without action. Electricity does not change the world by existing. It changes the world by flowing. And you do not change your life by existing. You change your life by acting. Tonight, you have a choice to remain potential or to become current, to remain dormant or to become movement, to remain in darkness or to become light. The power is already inside you. It always has been. The question is not whether you have power. The question is whether you will allow it to flow. The world is waiting. Your future is waiting. Your moment is waiting. Flip the switch. Become the current. Become the light. The moment when you become the current, ladies and gentlemen. We have spoken tonight about electricity. We have spoken about power. We have spoken about flow. But now, I want to speak to you about something even more important. Choice. Because everything we have discussed tonight comes down to one simple truth. Power exists everywhere. Potential exists everywhere. But transformation only happens when someone chooses to act. Electricity existed for billions of years before humanity learned to use it. The power was always there, waiting for discovery, waiting for connection, waiting for someone to believe it could be harnessed. And in the same way, your potential has always existed. Your power has always existed. Your ability to create change, to create meaning, to create impact has always existed. But potential alone does not change your life. Potential alone does not build your future. Potential alone does not illuminate your path. Flow does, action does, decision does. There will always be reasons to wait. There will always be reasons to doubt. There will always be reasons to remain where you are. Fear will speak. Uncertainty will speak. Comfort will speak. But there is another voice. A quieter voice. A deeper voice. A voice that speaks not from fear, but from truth. A voice that says, you were meant for more. You were meant to move. You were meant to grow. You were meant to become light in places where darkness exists. The world does not need more people who remain hidden. The world does not need more people who remain silent. The world needs people who allow their current to flow, people who choose courage over comfort, people who choose growth over fear, people who choose movement over stagnation. Because every city that shines today was once dark. Every innovation that shapes our lives today was once impossible. Every transformation that inspires us today was once only a decision. And tonight, your future stands before you, not as certainty, but as possibility. Not as guarantee, but as opportunity. And the most powerful truth I can leave you with is this. You do not need more power. You already have it. You do not need permission. You already belong. You do not need to become someone else. You only need to allow what is already inside you to flow. One decision can change your direction. One action can change your identity. One moment of courage can change your life. And perhaps that moment is now. Perhaps that decision is waiting inside you. Perhaps the current has already begun to move. The world is waiting, not for perfection, not for certainty, but for courage, not for readiness, but for willingness, not for someday, but for now. You are not here by accident. You are not here without purpose. You are not here without power. You are here to become current. You are here to become movement.